Welcome back to TILP. My name is Caleb.
And I'm Shaylin.
This video is going to be about our experience living in Colombia for 4 months in 3 different cities.
Come along as we check each of the cities out. First, we find ourselves in Barranquilla, or Puerto Lopez.
The beaches were really long, and you could definitely find some places to chill by yourself, but
if you find yourself in a sweet little apartment near a beach, just be aware that it might get really loud at night, especially if you're near a resort. The price might look sweet, but it may not be a good night's sleep.
the town of Puerto Lopez itself is pretty small and not as big as the nearby town of Barranquilla, which we do have a video on, and you should check that out. Link in the description.
The Puerto Colombia Pier, built in the late 19th century, 1888, served as the world's largest pier and played a vital role in exporting Colombian goods. Despite a decline in its significance, it was restored in the 21st century, preserving its crucial historical role as a symbol of the region's maritime heritage. Speaking of the sculptures, also known as La Ventana al Mundo, the window to the world, adding to its cultural and artistic significance.
The pier was partially closed when we went, but there are various art installations and often things happening in the square, so it's worth a visit. We tried a couple of the restaurants in town. There's nothing too exotic, but if you're looking for a good seafood lunch or a burger, wings, or some fries and a beer, they got you covered.
Next stop, Cartagena. Here we only spent 1 day and we decided to explore the beaches and have a bite to eat.
The place we stayed was okay. We were only there for 1 night, but there's lots of places to rent and tons of hotels and Airbnbs in Cartagena. Though it can fill up pretty fast since it is a popular city.
These old Spanish style houses are pretty crazy. I like this one, overgrown. That's how I would. It's like 30 to 34 degrees here all the time, so I'm pretty much constantly sweating. Are you hot?
Yes.
It's a little hot. But one thing we've noticed is there's a pretty big disparity between the nice areas and the poor areas of this city. Nice areas, very nice.
When arriving to the boardwalk, I couldn't help but notice how long and beautiful it was, with the beautiful stunning views of the Caribbean Sea, a modern promenade with palm trees and sculptures, ideal for sunset, views and recreational activities, features of art installations and cultural ambience, providing easy access to beautiful beaches close to landmarks like San Martin Avenue and the Convention Center.
Obviously, Cartagena de los Indios is a well-known place, and you can find some inflated tourist prices in some of the restaurants and areas, so definitely be aware of that and try to educate yourself on whatever the most current prices are. Right now, we are walking along the water's edge of the beach in Cartagena. There's a wonderful bike path and a jogging path that seems to be completely abandoned, as we are the only people that seem to be using it. But When we were exploring the neighborhood, we came across a little shop that had some very reasonably priced euros, so we grabbed ourselves a couple, got some beers, and it was probably $12 US.
Next, we hopped onto a 4-hour bus west to a small town called Caveñas. Caveñas is a coastal town in Colombia known for its beautiful beaches, maritime activities. Here's fun facts about Caveñas. Caveñas is a popular destination for tourists, offering a range of water-based activities such as swimming, snorkeling, and scuba diving, thanks to its clear waters and coral reefs and the surrounding areas.
The town of Caveñas isn't very big and it is a little bit spread out, but one of the best ways to get around are the moto taxis. They're pretty reasonably priced and they'll take you just about anywhere as long as their vehicle can make it there.
The grocery stores are usually pretty stocked. You can find just about everything you need.
And as with many places in Latin America, the fruits and vegetables are pretty fresh, especially such things as papaya and mango, which are virtually everywhere. As Shaylin mentioned, this is a smaller city, doesn't have the best infrastructure, but you won't see a lot of tourists here, so if you're looking for a more secluded, tourist-free location, Caveñas might be your best bet. There is still nice beaches, diving, as well as some other recreational activities. Overall, Caveñas is a pretty affordable town. Don't expect too much, but especially in the high season, it's a nice little tourist spot.
After 1 month in Caveñas, we took a flight to Bogotá. Once we arrived in Bogotá, we took a bus from the Terminal Terrestre to a small town called Guateque.
Where we were actually staying was a really old historic farmhouse up in the mountains in between two towns of Guateque and
Caragoa.
This was our return to the Andes in Colombia.
Guateque was an amazing hidden paradise, a step away from the large cities and big crowds, where you could definitely isolate yourself and enjoy nature.
The temperatures in this area are also much lower than on the coast, with averages around 70 degrees. It also reminded us of another hidden gem in Ecuador called Vilcabamba. Check the description for our video on Vilcabamba.
As you can see here, we are walking down a hill from our Airbnb, which is the start of a 20-minute hike down to Las Juntas.
So we have to walk about 20 minutes to get to the main road where we can usually find a taxi.
Okay, this is the bridge we used to cross the ravine. On the other side there we have the tunnels, and then we have the taxis. We'll show you. After crossing the bridge, you will find yourself hopping into a taxi and heading into town for another 30 minutes.
The views in this area are quite stunning. There's a large river that goes through the area, and there's also a dam and reservoir, but it's only full for part of the year, and if you do go when it's full, there is kayaking as well. The two closest towns from where we were staying are both small, but pretty impressive little mountain towns with some really nice restaurants and lots of small stores to buy nice clothes, souvenirs, and anything else that you might want, as well as a couple of chain grocery stores. The town center for both Caragoa and Guateque are absolutely beautiful, with some Small, local people selling ice creams, cotton candies, and other treats, as well as some very old trees and even some festivals if you're there on the right day. The architecture in all these places is also quite amazing, and the city center for all of these towns has a nice, old, colonial-style church.
After shopping, we hop back into a taxi, which is another 30 minutes, and we're home. This Airbnb was absolutely magical and definitely one of my favorites. It was a beautiful 6-bedroom historic family farmhouse. There were many animals such as cows, donkeys, and dogs that were quite friendly.
The house was originally built by a Colombian family who wanted to make something for all of their family members to live together. Eventually, though, some of the family members passed away and then some moved away, leaving the place open and available to rent, which is why we were able to take advantage of this amazing location.
The climate was quite comfortable. Maybe on some rainy days you might want to bundle up with a blanket or two, but other than that, quite peaceful.
There was a fair amount of rain during the time that we were there, but not too much. And often in the morning, the mountains would be completely surrounded by beautiful fog and mist, making some of the most amazing scenes.
On the property, there was also a freshwater mountain spring. Also, the water was drinkable as well.
The wildlife in the area is pretty amazing. Though there may not be any monkeys or any large animals, the variety of insects and birds is pretty astounding. And if you are okay with insects, it is still the tropics and you'll definitely see a lot of things here, including some scorpions, which we did have to be careful for, though there is tons of lush plants and beautiful flowers and trees all around this entire area. In conclusion, our time in Colombia was pretty amazing. We spent about 4 months in the country, giving us enough time to enjoy a few locations and really get a feel for the place.
See what you'd have to do? Demonstrate?
No, I'm okay.
We stayed in Colombia for a total of 4 months. It was an amazing experience. The people were warm and kind, and I would definitely visit Colombia again in the future.
Thank you for watching until the end of the video.
We appreciate you all for sticking around.
Keep an eye out for future videos and be sure to hit that like button and subscribe and leave a comment for us down below.
Until next time.
Bye!
Bye!